Meghan is livid. Harry has met someone who is his age, with whom he is in love, and who is in love with him. And Meghan found out about it after she discovered texts on Harry's phone.
No.
I tried so hard.
They really hate each other now, and they cannot hide it anymore.
She was the villain.
How was she dangerous?
Because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image.
Harry was not in love with Meghan Markle.
He was madly in love. The veil is now lifting.
So the whisper this week is that Harry has found himself another woman. Secret texts, a livid wife, the lot. And honestly, the funny part isn't the rumor. The funny part is that not one person who has watched these two for the past year is the least bit shocked.
These are the two photos of the women that people are speculating that could be the woman for Harry.
Here is what half the internet has quietly clocked for months. This marriage has been falling apart in full view. She films herself with her feet up, cruising through Paris, a stone's throw from where his mother was killed. She flies off to Geneva on her own, to Chicago on her own. He keeps flying back to London without her.
I knew Meghan for a bit before she met Harry. Did exactly the same to me, you know. She did that to many people that she knew, that she'd either worked with or was friends with or whatever. It just seems to me she's what I would call a ruthless social climber, who just when people are no longer appropriate parts of her circle, they have to be expunged quickly so she can move on up the ladder.
Absolutely.
Again and again and again. They run separate brands, separate accounts, separate lives, and now there's talk of another woman. And the reaction online boils down to two words: saw it coming.
Do you think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry?
The answer is yes. I mean, every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him. Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him. She controls every single situation like she is the star. And she's turned Prince Harry into a man of non-substance, you know, for her own well-being.
So tonight, forget the mystery blonde for a minute. We are going to walk the year that told you this was finished long before any text turned up. The girl Harry loved and threw away. A video that showed you exactly how much these two have left in the tank. The 1 month they took 2 separate holidays from each other. The people calling his wife a narcissist to her husband's face. And the reason a man who gave up a kingdom for this woman now looks like he regrets every waking second of it. Stay with me. This one has receipts.
The girl, woman, girlfriend, friend, however you want to put it, and I'm putting it like this for legal reasons, resides, and I'm not going to say if it's actually in Montecito or near Montecito, but it's in the environs. People have seen them together. Oh dear, my goodness, Harry's growing. Is it a backbone? Or, my goodness, maybe he's not going to be able to juggle those balls outside of windows anymore, because maybe they're going to be attached instead of detached. That would be progress, wouldn't it?
Let's go right back. Before Meghan, there was the only woman Harry ever looked genuinely happy standing next to. Chelsy Davy, Zimbabwe girl, blonde, barefoot, could not have cared less about palaces or protocol. On and off, the two of them were together the best part of 7 years.
Yeah, he loved her a lot, and she really loved him, and they had great fun together. And he liked it because she wasn't worried about the royal family. That wasn't a big deal for her. She just fitted in very easily.
And here's the bit that matters right now, given Harry himself has told it, under oath, not once, but twice. When he stood up in that witness box against the newspapers, he didn't lead with policy or grand principle, he led with her. He blamed the press, flat out, for poisoning the one relationship that ever made him happy. And the detail he gave was grim, the paranoia, the feeling he was being watched around the clock and couldn't trust a living soul near him. A tracking device that turned up on her car.
Totally miserable, totally allowing his negative past to take over him, all of these court battles, and just a great sense of sadness, actually, and anger connected to him.
Private arguments leaked to the papers. A gloating little headline splashed the day the pair finally split, celebrating it like a goal. He even says the same poison rotted his friendships, that he ended up suspicious of everyone in his own circle.
Nothing can actually get through to him to be happy now. He just feels it. It's everything's wrong.
This year, back in the box again over the Daily Mail, he called what they did to that romance a nightmare. His word, not mine. And in his own book, he went further than any of us ever asked him to. He as good as confessed he couldn't bring himself to drag Chelsy into this life, that he feared the press would hound her half to death, that if he'd had the choice, he wouldn't have wanted the life either. Read that back slowly. The man is on the record saying he would have walked from the whole royal circus if someone had only let him, and that the machine robbed him of the girl he loved. And she wasn't even the only one.
So he started having affairs with all sorts of other girls, and she got very upset, and he didn't go and see her for a long time, so she went off and left him. Now that's his fault, 100% his fault.
Cressida Bonus, the girlfriend straight after, bolted for the very same reason, took one long look at the royal fishbowl and ran for the hills. Two free spirits, both of whom loved him, both of whom took one look at this life and wanted no part of it. And here's the twist the fairy tale crowd would rather forget. Chelsy didn't slink off in a sulk. She turned up and sat in that chapel in 2018 and watched Harry marry Meghan, smiling for the cameras with everybody else. The one who got away, right there in the pew, watching him sign up for the exact circus he once swore he would spare her from. He married the woman who'd go on to make him miserable, as the woman who once made him happy sat there and clapped.
Prince Harry is heartbroken all over again. Now, of course, this is something that he is never going to admit publicly, especially as his marriage to Meghan Markle crumbles.
Script that in a soap, and they would send it straight back for being too on the nose. So now look at where the man washed up. He didn't get away from the circus. He married the ringmaster and shipped the whole tent to California. Chelsy ran a mile from cameras. Meghan turned up towing a Netflix crew. You could not write a crueler punchline if you sat up all night trying.
How many tears left I? How many? Oh. I think we'd better get a bottle of champagne to sort of get everybody calm.
The simmering tension between the duplicitous Duke and his facelift-enhanced wife. Here's the red carpet arrival.
Hey, Harry, what are you going to do?
Now the moment that, for an awful lot of people, said the quiet part out loud. Last autumn, Paris Fashion Week. Meghan is over in Paris for the Balenciaga show, and she posts a little clip to her own Instagram. Nighttime, backseat of a car, city lights sliding past the glass. And there she is, reclined, heels up on the seat, filming her own shoes as she cruises through the middle of Paris.
This is her in the car, videoing herself with her legs up as she went past the tunnel in which Diana Spencer was so tragically killed in Paris.
Here's why that clip went off like a firework. She was gliding along the river, less than a mile from the underpass where Harry's mother died in a car, at night, being hounded by photographers. Diana, a Paris tunnel, and her daughter-in-law decided the elegant move was to put her feet up and shoot a little shoe advert on the same stretch of riverbank.
This is gross and grim and deranged on every level.
You couldn't make it up. Her people said afterwards she hadn't realized how close she was. Make of that what you will. Either she genuinely had no clue where she was in the one city on earth her husband's mother died in, or she knew full well and did it anyway. There's no third door there, and neither of the two is a good look. Even the ones who normally leap to defend her called this one beyond stupid.
Well, how about having some thought towards your husband's feelings when you're in the same city his mom died in, running around having a joyride in Paris near where she lost her life?
One royal commentator just sat there, plainly bewildered, saying he could not begin to understand what she was thinking. And look at the setting. She wasn't in Paris for anything solemn. She was there for a fashion week, front row at the big shows, living her best influencer life.
Meghan is doing her own thing. Harry, go whatever with you. I'm doing what I want to do.
A jolly. And of all the roads in the city, she chose that one stretch of riverbank to put her feet up and press record. The tone deafness of it is almost a gift. And here's what makes it cut so deep. This is a man who, only a couple of years back, sat and told the world that a paparazzi chase through the streets of New York had left him terrified.
Especially when he's on the BBC saying that it's not safe enough for my family in the UK, but it's safe enough for Megyn to be alone in Paris, literally engaging with the paparazzi you say killed your mother.
History was about to repeat itself. His mother, a car, cameras in the night. He said it out loud. That was the fear that gripped him. That is how raw this exact subject sits for Harry. And there's his wife, heels up in a Paris car, filming it for the likes. The cheek of it. You do not need a statement out of Montecito to picture how that one went down at home. Want to know if a marriage is in real trouble? Don't read the statements, read the calendar. And this year, their calendar is 2 separate diaries that barely touch. Take one single month.
Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Scamalot, she has taken her scams abroad.
This May, Meghan flew to Geneva on her own. A big solo speech, her own spotlight, her own standing ovation. No Harry within 1,000 miles of it. Days before that, she'd flown to Chicago, also on her own. No Harry, no children. Just Meghan off doing her own thing on the far side of the country. And it is not a one-off. She has built herself an entire solo social calendar out there. A museum gala on her own. A children's hospital gala where she wheeled out a frock from years back. On her own again.
She wants to showcase that image to the world that she is the one who's the boss, but she's not really the boss.
Then a pledge dinner, a red carpet, a tribute night for her friend Tyler Perry. And every single time, the seat beside her where a husband ought to be is sitting empty. The woman has a fuller social life than most people half her age, and she's living every bit of it solo. One tabloid count reckoned Harry hadn't been spotted at her side in over 40 days.
She tries to direct and show people what to do because she's a controller. And that's what we see in her body language. That is her showing control because she is control obsessed.
Take the tabloid maths with a pinch of salt, but you get the drift. There's even chatter she floated a vow renewal to paper over the cracks, which tells you plenty, given you only reach for a vow renewal when the first set has stopped meaning very much. And it cuts both ways. Harry keeps going home to Britain without her, again this month, same as the last time and the time before that.
When you start to see a marriage break down the way Harry and Meghan's marriage has clearly broken down, you start to speculate on what could be going on. And it would make sense.
He won't even stay in royal lodgings when he's over there. She never comes with him. The official line is his security row, and fine, take it at face value. But how convenient that the one thing keeping this devoted husband from his family is the very same thing that lets him fly off across an ocean and leave them behind whenever the mood takes him.
And I don't think Meghan is happy at all. How could she be? I mean, look, the girl's whole has ever is crumbled. Harry's talking about going back. How does Meghan feel about that? I heard that she wants to go back. No, she don't. No, she doesn't. I mean, look, this girl is trying to do everything she can to have an independent life with a career in Hollywood. That's what she's going after. That's what she wants.
And here's the kicker. He has said right out in the open that he wants to bring Meghan and the children over to visit. Wants to, somehow never does. A grown man narrating his own family's absence and praying nobody clocks the gap between what he says and what he gets on a plane and does. And none of this even started with a mystery woman. 2 years ago, the pair of them quietly cut their whole life in half. Separate Instagram accounts, her Netflix deal and her jam brand over here, his Invictus and his Polo over there. Everyone politely called it a professional separation. Very grown up, very amicable, but you do not file a business divorce from the person you're still head over heels for. The separate lives didn't begin with an affair. They began with a spreadsheet.
We're gonna have this whiny little wanker back in the United Kingdom, back demanding security paid for by us. No, honestly, part of me thinks the best possible punishment for the Duke of Delusion, after accusing the British royal family of being racist, after making the late Queen Elizabeth II's dying days a misery, after putting Prince Philip through God knows what on his deathbed, part of me thinks the best punishment for him is to actually have to live in perpetuity with one of the worst women to ever exist.
But she is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough of herself while she simultaneously plays the victim.
Right. Let me say the bit the polite ones won't. The portrait a lot of very serious people are painting now is of a man who got swallowed whole. One of the biggest names in all of American television has sat on air and branded Meghan a malignant narcissist. Those exact 2 words out loud, on the record, and she is nowhere near the only one.
This is the natural progression for someone who has gone about things the way Harry and Meghan have. I mean, you look at how they wanted to leave the UK because of racism, because of not being protected. Oh, let's go over now to America and get, all these opportunities off of our royal titles. And then now America is not warming to them anymore. Oh, okay, let's leave America. People don't like it. Let's go down back to the UK. Well, newsflash, the people in the United Kingdom still don't like you. Like, why would you even go back to the UK?
Harry's own biographers have called Meghan the most bitter, unreconciled woman they've ever come across. Even his own uncle, by several accounts, wrote her off as a plain opportunist. Others have gone harder still, talking about her like she quietly rewired the man from the inside out. And the read underneath every bit of it is the same, that Harry didn't marry a partner, he hired a boss.
We all know that that's how Meghan is. We've seen it from the very beginning. So to even say that you don't do that when we clearly can see that you have done it, you continue to do it, it just makes you out to be a liar.
Just watch how small the man has got. This is a grown prince who had to stand up and publicly deny a report that his own wife talks over him in his own meetings. Now sit with that. You don't rush out to deny a thing like that, unless it is exactly what the whole world already suspects about you. And then there is the homesickness he can no longer hide. Last year, he sat down and wrote out loud for anyone to read that Britain will always be the country he proudly served. Royal watchers who cannot stand the man read that line, and every last one of them landed in the same spot. That is a homesick soul, thick with regret.
We know what's going to happen. I don't know how Harry is going to live part-time in the UK. It's a mess. It's a mess. And I just really feel sorry for the real royals, Catherine and William, because now they are going to have to deal with, the influx of the things that Harry's going to be doing now in their playground. This is not going to be good for the real royals. Okay, this is a disaster for them. I just don't see how they think they're going to have another shot in the UK, because things have not changed for them. They have gotten worse for them in the UK. How can you want to come back?
One of them came right out and called him desperately lonely out there in California. Another reckons he has forever sat by the phone, waiting for his brother to call and ask him to come home. And his oldest friends barely know the man anymore. If you believe the ones who still talk, the wild, warm, larking about Harry, everyone grew up watching has been sanded right down into a nervy, careful figure who scans the room before he dares open his mouth.
Harry and Meghan both feel that America is kind of cooling on them and that it's difficult, and they want to be liked in the UK now, and that's where they're focusing, a kind of a charm offensive. And I think, and bizarre as it was, as you said, there's a kind of sense of whiplash, but I think this is Harry wanting to be liked, and he's trying to be appealing again to ordinary people who have, not enjoyed being called racist and not enjoyed the things he said about his family.
People who knew him 30 years say the light has simply gone out of him. Whatever you make of the marriage, something in that man has switched clean off. And a switched off man, one eye's already on the door. A prince who traded his family, his country, and the only girl he ever loved for a woman half the planet now believes runs his diary and his mouth. If that is the fairy tale, you can keep it.
You can't bring the late Queen Elizabeth II back and allow her to live her last couple of years in peace. Likewise, Prince Philip. However, there is a wider plan at play, and that is still to unveil. Archie and Lily on UK soil during the Invictus Games next year.
Which brings us at long last back to this week's whisper. And now maybe you can see why it landed the way it did. The claim, doing the rounds through the usual channels, is that Meghan went through Harry's phone and found texts. That there's another woman, roughly his own age, that she is the reason there's suddenly a spring in his step about coming home.
Meghan had found some text messages on Harry's phone that confirmed this information.
The veil is lifting in terms of Harry's feelings about Meghan.
The internet has even settled on a name, some media executive, off the back of a single photo at a party. Now, there is not a shred of proof behind that name, and I'm not about to hang it on a stranger, so we will leave the poor woman out of it. But the rumor itself, the plain idea that Harry's eye has drifted somewhere warmer, nobody out there is straining to believe it.
Harry has woken up and smelled the roses, and he's not happy because it's not roses he's smelling something bad. man. Poop.
They have just sat through everything I've walked you through. And here's the twist that tells you how far the whole fairy tale has fallen. You would think a headline about Harry and a secret woman would have the internet swooning. It did the exact opposite. The single most liked comment under the entire thing was a woman asking who on this earth would want Harry in the first place. Not even Meghan, she reckoned.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Thousands of likes. Another one, thousands more, swore blind that if he were the last man breathing, she wouldn't cross the road for him. And a whole other crowd are cackling about the sheer karma of it.
We always talk about how Meghan's like, they took my voice. Well, she's taking Harry's. She's taking his voice. She's taking, his freedoms away from him to do what he wants to do.
Given this is the woman who once traded up from a first husband to land herself a prince. Funny that. The shoe suddenly finding the other foot. They have waited the best part of 9 years for this exact moment. The day the tables finally turned on the pair of them, and they are not about to waste a second of it. The romance of the century, and the public reaction to the man maybe having an affair is to howl with laughter and ask what on earth the other woman must be thinking. Good grief. That is how completely the shine has come off him.
I think that's most likely the neatest, cleanest, and most cost-effective way, let's put it that way, of resolving a problem. Because I know people would like to have a massive ruling that the king has decided in council that he's stripping Harry of his titles and the children are out of the line of succession. That's pie in the sky. That's not how things work on a legal level or a governmental level.
So here's where the whole thing finally lands. For years, the version we were sold ran one way. Meghan in charge, Harry a step behind carrying the bags, thrilled to be allowed in the room. This week, for the very first time, it flipped clean over. Now he is the one with the secret. He is the one being whispered about. He is the one homesick and heavy with regret, flying back to the country he swore blind he would never live in, as she builds a life 3,000 miles away, with less and less room in it for him. Whether there's another woman or not barely matters at this point.
Reality is that it's probably lasted longer than some of the critics would have believed it to have lasted, right? If there's still, look, nobody wants the marriage to go pop, does it? Nobody wants it, with the exception probably of Dan Wood, right? Nobody wants it, right? Nobody wants it to go pop. So, but if it does last another 3 or 4 years, it'd be a miracle. Because the other problem is, if it goes pop, the kids are going to stay in America. He's going to be living in a terrace somewhere in Preston, right? When's he going to see her? I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is completely ridiculous. Now,
you don't need one to see what is happening here. A man who lost the girl he loved to this circus, who then handed over everything he had left for the woman who built him a far bigger one, who now cannot stop glancing back over his shoulder at the home he walked away from. That is not a marriage going through a rough patch. That is a man working out, a full decade too late, precisely what he signed away.
Harry's never coming back to the UK. He has no interest in it, to live. Never coming back to the UK, loves his life in California. He's here forever. And that has completely changed, hasn't it? Just turned around. Quite quietly, while we've all been looking at other things, their eyes are on Europe again and the UK.
He didn't lose his old life to some tragic accident. He signed it over himself with a grin and a Netflix contract, and only added up the true cost a good few years after the ink had dried. They will deny it, of course. They always do. Right up until the morning, they don't. But the smiles stopped matching the fairy tale a long, long time ago. And once the cameras quit asking whether you're still in love and start asking who else might be, it is already over. Somebody just has to be brave enough to say it out loud.
I don't think that Harry would ever leave those children. And so he's stuck in California.
So tell me where you land on this one. Is Harry a victim who lost his way here? Or did he get precisely what he chose? Honestly, I could argue it both ways. So drop your verdict down in the comments below and settle it for me. I read every single one. And hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who care about these stories. Subscribe on your way past. There's a great deal more coming this week, and this one is nowhere near finished. The moment one of them slips, or the next solo trip quietly gets booked, we will be right back here to take it apart. Keep your eyes on Montecito. Somebody there is about to blink.